I know I'm looking crazy and batty because I had mascara on and I didn't take it off last night. I tried to do it this morning. It wasn't the smartest idea. But I do have a prayer. Well, not a prayer. It's actually Psalms 91, and it is a prayer. It's basically us talking, then Jesus talking to us, and then God telling Jesus what he would do. And it is so chilling because this is a protection prayer my cousin told me to read, and I've read it over the years since 2014, and the words are so meant for this time right now that this shows more than ever that this is a living word. It is meant for everyone now. It is not a story book that you just read and it's like, oh, I read it and it's read. No, it protects us and it leads us and it guides us if we allow it to and let it and we believe in it. So it's Psalms 91, and I'm not the best person to read out loud, but I am going to read it. Psalms 91, verse 1, it starts by basically us. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadows of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Now I can't say this is Jesus talking because it's not in red, because this is the Old Testament, but this is just what I believe. This is what Jesus is saying now. Surely he will save you from the fowlers and snares. And this is why I believe this is Jesus talking to us about what God will do. Again, this is starting at verse 3 in Psalms 91. Surely he will save you from the fowling snares and from the deadliest pestilence. Deadliest pestilence. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terrors of night, nor the arrows that fly by day, nor the pestilence that stalk in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you make the Most High your dwelling, even the Lord, who is my refuge, then no harm will befall you. No disaster will come near your tent, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra and trample the great lion and the serpent. Now that's Jesus, I feel, talking to us, telling us what our faith in God and us taking refuge in him would do for us in our lives always. And that's what I'm saying. It's a Toby Mac song, and it's, I can't remember, and I love Toby Mac, and it's basically saying we're gonna do this till the day we die. Like, in his name we glorify. Like, it's not a game. It was a verse in there that one of the rappers was like, God is not a crutch where you can use him when you wanna. You only look to heaven when you're going through some drama. See, and the dude was like, in the rap, he said he don't understand that life. That's why, because, like I said, I've been reading this since 2014, before any of this was going on. It's not something that you pick up and you at this time and then you feel like, oh, he's just gonna come. No, this is what you hold in your heart near and dear. When this was going on, a few of these verses just came in my mind. Like, I didn't remember exactly, but I've read it. So I was like, pestilence, arrows, 10,000 falling in my right hand. Like, those are the things that I can remember. And I'm like, I'm protected. I'm not saying that I'm not concerned and I'm not being vigilant, because he wants us to be vigilant. But I'm taking the necessary precautions. But the first precaution that I believe that I know I took was trusting in the Lord and following God. So now this is God. Hold on, just baby. Stop. Can you hold on a second? Don't do that. Okay, big guy. Can you be quiet just a second?
No.
No, you can't. Okay. So this is God. I truly believe that is talking now. Because he loves me, said the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will come upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I sanctify him and show him my salvation. Now, I can't say that that's the way it went and the way it goes, but to me, it seems like us speaking, then Jesus speaking, and even Jesus, why I believe it is Jesus, because in the part where I said it was Jesus, actually, it's Psalm 91, verse 9. If you make the Most High your dwelling, even the Lord, who is my refuge, and I feel like that's Jesus even saying God is his refuge, who is my refuge, then no harm will come, no harm will befall you. No disaster will come near your tent. So that's why I believe this is us, Jesus, then God solidifying everything by saying, I will be there in the trouble. He will deliver us. He will honor us. He will sanctify us, and he will show us his salvation. Only God can do that. So Psalms 91 is very deep. It is very relevant to the times right now. And I want to let you know, just because when you dedicate yourself, you dedicate yourself. It doesn't take a week. It doesn't take 10 years. While that's being said, just another parable that was is in the Bible. And I'm not quoting it word for word. This is just my brief summary. There was some guys that came to a field. A man that owned the vineyard. He offered an amount of money for working in his vineyard for that day. It wasn't by the hour. It wasn't by who came at 7 in the morning. You got more than the person that came at 5 in the afternoon. If you came and you worked that day, you got that pay. It was some people that came, they showed up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not saying that's what it says in there, but just, okay, let me not give time. There's some people that came early that morning, and they worked in that field, in that vineyard for that man, that landlord, all day. And there was some people that came, let's say, it was about to shut down in 2 hours, 3 hours, but they came. They came. They came later, but they came. Both men got paid the same amount. Now, the men that were there longer got upset, like, hey, how he get the same pay I got and I've been here 5 hours before him? And then the landlord had to tell him, I said for the day. I didn't say who came early or who came late. Whoever came gets the same treatment, the same payment. That's a representative of God when you come to his kingdom. It don't matter if you've been sanctified and saved since you was 2. And you've been sanctified and saved for 2 minutes. You now got the same privileges. The same. You get the same things that person has been doing it since they 2 and now they 65. That you started at 70 and you only started 2 minutes ago. You get the same privileges. It's in his word. That's what it says. So I don't want anybody to think that, oh, she's been reading this since 2014. If I read it now, it's no good. No, you fall on your face. You declare Jesus. You say, you recognize he died on the cross for us. He rose again. When you are able, you get baptized in his name. Picking up your cross, solidifying. That's like your marriage ring. That's your sign to the world that you picking up. You do it once you get baptized, and you go on and you turn 180. You don't go that way no more. You go back that way. You 180 and you turn away and you walk from your sins. But if you get in this word and you pray and you open up your heart and that's what you want and he knows it, guess what, baby? You saved. When you acknowledge that Jesus came by way of God, hovering over Mary, giving that child to her. He was born into this earth. He walked a seamless life. He was our sacrificial lamb. He died on the cross for us and our sins. And you know then at that point, you are no longer your own. That's why oh no, I'm not going to go there. That's going to take this way somewhere else. But I can't give myself to anybody else because I don't own myself. When Jesus came and he died on the cross for me, he became the Lord of my life. His blood covers me from sin. So I am his child. I am his. That's who I am. That's how I see myself, as his child. So like he say, let my yeses be yeses, my noes be noes. I cannot swear this and I cannot swear that. Why? Because my heart, my soul already belongs to the kingdom of God. So with that being said, that's a personal thing with me and God. Not saying you don't need to go to church and you should stay at home. I had some people say, oh, once my mama told me in the Bible where I ain't had to go to church, I stopped going. He still, just like he wants a personal relationship with us, he wants us to have personal relationships with his children. That's how we get things done. So that is a must in my opinion. But if you cannot make it to a church at this point in time because of things that are going on, it does not mean that you are any less than you were when you were actively going. Because what he really wants, he loves us to congregate with each other. He loves us to, what is the word? I can't get it out. My gears are going, but it's not going. It's not fellowship. He loves us to fellowship with one another. He smiles on that even when it's two. He's in the midst of when it's just two of us. He's in the midst when it's just one of us. Because even when it's one of us, it's still us, our spirit, and Jesus, and him. So it's still more than just two. It's us. It's always two. It's always two. Because you and your spirit. It's always two. So don't think that you got to have a friend there for him to be in the midst. No. He wants us to do that and he enjoys that. But what he loves most of all is our individual relationship with him. If you can go and you can quote a sermon front to back and forth, that's beautiful. I'm not saying it's not, especially if it touched you, it moved you, and it made you a better person. But what he's really looking for is for you to get in this word, for you to read it, and for you to gain your own understanding on a personal level with him. That's why I say what I read, this is what I believe. This is what my spirit revealed to me when I read it. And it makes sense. And it makes so much sense that it's scary because I'm like, I don't even understand how I figured that out or how it came to me that way. And you have 10,000 other people that see it a different way. And that's okay. Because this word is a living word. It speaks to us individually. It's not going to say the same thing to me that it's going to say to somebody else. But it's going to all be for our good. And then the other freaking thing about it is it'll say something to me now when I'm in my little stages of stepping into faith. And I'll read it 15 years later and it'll say something totally different. It's a living word. It changes. It evolves as we evolve in him. So don't get discouraged when somebody, oh, I don't get it like that. I don't see it like that. Build your own relationship. Build your own relationship. I've ranted, I raved enough, but Psalm 91 in this day and age is wonderful. It's relevant, and not just now, but in life, period. We are living in some very trying times, and I'm a full believer that you can trust in men, but I'm not going to put my faith in them. My faith is in God. With that being said, you guys have a blessed one.